Thank you. I prefer to have the remote in my hands if I'm going to move the slides. I know when I want them to come up and when I want them to disappear. So as I said this morning, I want to talk a little bit about navigating change and some really hard times in our lives and some hard pivots. I'm going to talk about that, but and especially this morning, doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're 19, 22, anybody 22 in the audience? Oh yeah, we do have one. Oh yeah, okay. Not quite, almost, yeah, that's right. She has 2 more months, going to graduate college. We have a little one over there. It doesn't matter, 28, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. As long as we live, we have times with times of trouble, where we are challenged and we're just not exactly certain of where to turn. We're going to talk about that this morning. So we were fortunate enough to be able to watch the Winter Olympics this year, and they were fascinating. I came across a fascinating story, navigating the hard pivots of life. And it was in a book written by the most decorated U.S. Winter Olympian in history. Does anyone know who it was? Apollo Ono? Never heard of him. He wrote a book titled Hard Pivots. He won 8 Olympic medals in speed skating during his career. That's a lot. And in the book, he talks about when he needed to hang up his ice skates and retire at the ripe old age of 27. Now just take a moment and think about that. We're probably cynical when we're saying, yeah, sure, he's got all the money in the world, he's already had all this success and more that a person could want. And there he is, though, facing, what do I do next? He had just spent the major part of his life learning how to win at a really, really, really hard sport. He didn't have girlfriends, didn't have a life, didn't have any single thing outside of training for the next big race. So at the age of 27, hold on, Joan, were you signaling to me or just, no, okay. No, that's okay. A couple of times I thought you were asking me something. Okay. So we think that sounds easy, but just imagine yourself that all you've done, even through your youth, no academic training, no real schooling to speak of. Every bit of the schooling he had was provided by special tutors, so he lost many of the regular experiences that he would have had in school. And so he knew, though, his last race, he knew he couldn't do it anymore because he couldn't do the hard training. And he felt like at his age he had peaked out at what he could do physically and mentally. The mental toughness it takes to do that is just incredible. I know it is. So he decided he just couldn't go on doing the same thing. And one of the favorite quotes I had from the book, he said, pivoting in life and reinvention is really hard. All of us have our self-perceived identities associated with what we do and who we are, and those are somehow intrinsically tied. So as someone who didn't care about anything outside of the Olympic rim for most of his life, I didn't know anything about what I was good at, what I was interested in, what I wanted to do next, and what my life purpose and true north was. It took a lot of self-discovery, self-realization, and self-work. So there it is for anybody, doesn't matter what age you are. If you're feeling like you're coming to a point where you can't do what you're doing any longer, he had some really great advice, and we can listen to it. He explains the universe has plans that might not make sense to you right now, but it will. That God, the Creator, the North Star, whatever it is, if you'll take enough time in the quiet and listen, you will be guided, you will be directed to the next right place. He also shared his vulnerability. He didn't know, and he didn't know sometimes what he didn't know. For instance, he said that he got into some business arrangements that he regretted because he trusted too many people. But the outcome was okay because he learned a lot of wisdom and discernment in the process. And so he said he really didn't lose anything. But I want to go back to the title of the book and why he called it or named it that. I don't know if any of you are aware of what a hard pivot is, but in speed skating, he says it's when you're hurtling down the straightaway on the ice in a self-propelled sport and you're reaching the corner. And at the corner, you need to lean over at an impossible angle, carry that turn on one leg, and then whip around the corner in the complete opposite direction without slowing down as you hurtle on down to the next corner. And you do the same thing. He said improperly executed, of course. It's painful and it hurts, and sometimes you fall with others. And if that happens, you have a choice. You can stay down, or you can get up and go on. It's your choice. He said in life it's the same thing as with the hard pivots. We often believe we're deserving of a different result or outcome. How many of you have argued with the past? You tried to make it something it wasn't. If only, you'll say, I deserved something better. That shouldn't have happened. How long do you argue with that? Waste your energy over it. The sooner you can let it go and move on, the better off you are. So he says that everyone must make a hard pivot at some time in their lives. I believe that, don't you? We all do. We know we have. History is full of them. History is full of change makers who made similar pivots and ended up having a huge impact in their fields. Let's just look at a few. Ellen DeGeneres started out as a paralegal. Look where she ended up. Stephen King was a school janitor who only wrote stories during his off hours. Did you know that? Walt Disney was fired from his first position as a newspaper editor because his boss thought he lacked creativity. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And this is the one I love. I saved it for last because you're really going to be surprised, but it's true. Pope Francis was once a bouncer at a nightclub in Buenos Aires. It's the truth. He was. And where is he now? At the Vatican, the most powerful person in the Catholic organization and the world, I might say, and I want to applaud him right now for his openness, his love, his reinterpretation of what it means to be spiritual. Let's celebrate that. Maybe he learned that in that nightclub. I don't know. That may just be where he learned that truth. Life transitions are inevitable. There's a lot of great research, and science to prove it. We know that. We've all gone through a lot of transitions already. And how many hard pivots we have to make, I don't know. I hope we have just a few of those because they sound a little bit hard to me. But sometimes it's hard even to see how we're going to make it through a hard time like that. Maybe you've done something your entire life. You think it's what you're good at, what you have experience doing. You may not even believe you can do anything else. That's a time for you to be gentle with yourself and be open and take one day, one step at a time. If you don't know where to go next, stay one more day wherever you are. Ask for wisdom and discernment, and you will be given it. I promise you will know. And Apollo also said that sometimes we paralyze ourselves and stay in the strongest prison on the planet. And that's the one between our own two ears. We can stay stuck. I read about another man, and I apologize, I cannot remember his name. I should have written it down. He had gone to Hollywood as a young man and really wanted to make it big and successful. And he got onto a pretty popular show, and he was an assistant, making good money, got married, had a family. He had a great deal of success, but he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy at it. He wanted to do something else. He just didn't know what. Well, as it turned out, and I believe his name was Matthew, some of you may know of him, Matthew Perry maybe. He loved those, and here's where I'm really talking out of my element, so I may need some help this morning. He loved those virtual games where you play football. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Virtual football. He loved it. He loved playing it. He said he would have played it all day long if he could. So what he did at first was he got in with one of those companies that create those games. He asked them if he could just write an article for free about it every month. He would just post it on their website, and he did that for a while. Then he thought, no, I want to do something more. So he actually went out on his own and started creating his own virtual football games. And he's wildly successful. And he's happy. As it turns out, there are two definitions of happy. And they all come from many, many, many years ago, maybe 300 BC from Aristotle. Two definitions of happy, and one is that we are satisfied with our success in life, and we're happy with what we're doing. And the other is an inner peace that says that we're happy with what we're being. There's a subtle difference in that, because most of us in the room grew up in a society where we were identified with what we were doing. What have I done today? I got to get up and do something. That's my husband's mantra. He's always getting something done, and I thank God for that. He does, and he is, but he grew up on a big farm, and they judged themselves and each other by what hard work had they done today, and what had they gotten done. And it worked. That worked. But now we're at a point in our lives where we want to be at peace with who we are. And here's the good news I want to share with you today. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can have both types of satisfaction and happiness. You can have that type success that comes from being a teacher. I know we have a few teachers in the room. I know that you can have the type success that comes from being a teacher, a role model, a supervisor. You may find your life's purpose working in a warehouse. If you enjoy getting up every day and doing that, go for it. Do whatever makes you want to get up in the morning and go with joy on towards your job. It may be working with your dad on classic cars. That sounds like a dream job to me. Or creating football games, virtual ones. It may be working at Universal, living your dream job every single day. I don't know. I remember our big guy Chuck that comes sometimes. He's about 6'5" at least, and he works for a company that services the big machines at the casinos, and he can just pick those big machines up by himself. He doesn't need a bit of help. But I remember his saying he loves his job. I love what I do, he said. I said, go for it, buddy. He loves getting up in the morning and going to work. So I think that's what we need to identify, is to be able to identify what your North Star is and what it is you want to be. And if you're at retirement age, then you can also decide what you want to do. Here are a few suggestions. Spend time in the quiet. Allow yourself to hear or to feel spirit, the inner voice. Have a daily practice to help you maintain perspective, alleviate stress. I know Apollo said in his book that when someone told him that he should meditate, he said he thought that meditation was only for Buddhists. He didn't know that prayer is a form of meditation. And many of us call our prayer and meditation time just our quiet time. Whatever works for you. Be grateful for what you already have. That's a key component, because if we're not grateful for what we already have, we're likely not to receive more, are we? Be grateful. Be grateful for the healing, for the prosperity, everything. And if you are at a place where you have retired and you don't need the income anymore, elevate your life's purpose by volunteering where it feels good. You may volunteer at places like, we donated some recently to Humane Society. You may want to go there and donate your time. Feed my sheep. You may want to go there and help them prepare meals for people. You may want to donate your time picking up litter. You may want to donate your time by just walking along the streets and smiling at people, or to donate your time with CASA, where they help children that are between adoption and whatever system it is. However, you may want to donate your time by teaching mediumship. Whatever it is, if you're at that point in life, volunteer some, give back a little. Give back whatever feels comfortable. Then when it doesn't feel comfortable anymore and you're giving too much, then cut back. Do only what feels good. Turn to your inner strength and resilience. Then ask yourself, what is success? What will it look like? What will it feel like for me? Is it what I truly want with my life? Be flexible. Meet life's transitions with as much flexibility as you're able. What is it, Beth, that we say about flexible and flexible life? No, okay. Being flexible in life.
Oh,
the spine. Yeah. Sorry. Station break. The more flexible.
Essentially, the youth of the body is determined
by the flexibility. The youth of the body is determined by the flexibility of the spine. I believe that. I stay flexible. Do you? Stay flexible. It's key. It's key to staying youthful. If you can't reach down and touch the floor, then just do a little bit. Start out in a chair. I'm serious. Flexible in body, mind, and spirit. It's huge. It's huge. It's how you're going to stay young. It's how you're going to jump up on the stage. Charles was playing some Spanish music this morning. Of course, I immediately, start dancing to it, and he wanted to know where my castanets were. And then Tony was sitting just in front of me, and he thought Charles was talking to him, and he got a weird look on his face. And no, Tony, you're cute, but no, we'll just let you go with the role you're in. Bass drummer is good. Stay flexible. Laugh. Stay happy. You can't have a happy life if you go around with a sad frown. Did you know that? See how often during the day you have set a stern look on your face. And change it. Make yourself smile. Those endorphins will be released. It's true. You'll elevate your mood by smiling, just like that. Be faithful. Remember that hard times don't last forever. You'll come through this and your life will be filled with joy, love, and laughter. No matter your age, whether you're 18, 19, 21, 22, 27, 28, 35, whatever your age, the advice is the same. Although I'll say to the really young people in the crowd that you do need to gain enough experience to have wisdom. Experience does that. Experience is what gives us our wisdom and discernment. It's why grandparents are so good. Really and truly, we've come through all these experiences, and then we just hold this child and love them, and we're not nearly as worried about what they're going to do with their future as we did when we were young parents. Allow yourself the time to gain experience, to gain wisdom, and the more flexible you are, the easier you'll take life's turns. You can allow your heart to guide you. You can trust it, but you have to listen. I thank you this morning for being here, and thank you for your time.